What is up, male and females? Before the video actually begins, I just want to apologize because I'm in the middle of editing this video and I realize my stuttering problem gets a lot worse when I'm nervous, so I naturally just stutter a lot, but this one takes the cake for I think probably the most stuttering I've done in a video. If you can mind that, I think the video is pretty entertaining, and with that, let's just jump right into it. I can't do it. What is up, male and females? I hope you all are doing pretty well today, and I thought today we're gonna go back down memory lane, back to a simpler time before all your Fortnites and your war zones and all whatever else is happening today. Man, gosh, for a Gen Z person, I feel like I'm so out of the trend of life, but that's what you get when you got a guy like me. Anyway, back on topic. We're going to be going back to 2016, a pretty good year of gaming, I would argue. And the game we're going to be talking about when it comes to 2016 is good old Overwatch. Now, not to let's forget what Overwatch was. It wasn't just a big deal. It was a gaming phenomenon, making Blizzard like over $1 billion in its first year. It had over I think 50 million players, if I researched correctly, in its first 3 years. And it dominated esports like nothing we've ever seen. And honestly, I think we have to, give thanks to Overwatch, because without it, I don't think the esports gaming scene would be as big as it is. But Overwatch was just a force of nature. And honestly, at the time, I wasn't on the hype train. I played the beta. I played a couple of games when I rented the game from Family Video. I thought it was fine. I thought the graphics were fine. I thought the gameplay, the moment-to-moment gameplay was fine. I just wasn't a fan of it. What can I say? I was just your standard Billy Bob playing Call of Duty back then. What can I say? But around the year of 2019, I kind of started caving. I picked up Overwatch 1 on my PS4. It was like on sale, downloaded it digitally. And by then they made some updates with how the gameplay worked, where you had to like select what role you wanted to go into. And I found my niche as in a support character. I don't know why that's kind of where my niche was. I can't remember the character's name, but that character that could like drain life and give life. I love that character. I played her a lot. But then they started like announcing Overwatch 2, and I kind of got more intrigued by the idea of how they were selling us the game as like a redefining the sequels. And their pitch, believe it or not, this is what their pitch was. Their pitch was to not leave Overwatch 2 or an Overwatch 1 behind. Like, if you play Call of Duty, basically every year, you basically have to restart. You're getting new characters, new maps, new things to progress for. And basically any other Call of Duty game just does not matter at all. But with Overwatch 2, it's going to be updated concurrently with Overwatch 1. So you're basically going to have two games that do the same exact thing, just one has better graphics and a campaign. Spoiler alert, the campaign ended up getting canceled. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I was like, this sounds like a pretty cool idea. And then I got a PC in 2021, and Overwatch, basically any game that runs under PC can sometimes feel like a brand new game just because how you can customize performance. And so when I'm playing Overwatch at max settings, like over 100 frames per second, it feels like a brand new game. And so I was very excited for Overwatch 2. And then the day came, and well, here's the deal. It's fine. Overwatch 2 is a fine game. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not, whatever. It's fine. But I actually haven't played it since probably the month it came out. And it really comes down to, I felt like my time wasn't respected. I hated the progression system compared to Overwatch 1. And I hated Overwatch 1's progression system. I hated how you only got one loot box per level up. And sure, there was other ways to do it, and you could spend real money. But like for me, the progression wasn't my favorite thing. And Overwatch 2 just made the progression worse, in my opinion. The reviews weren't necessarily bad, but like when it came to like the common gamer's perception, it was a complete downgrade of Overwatch 1 in almost every way. It switched to like 5v5. There was like a new game mode. The graphics were better, in my opinion. They're not much different than the original Overwatch. And it just wasn't good. And right now, as we look at it today in SteamDB, it really only has at any given time about 20,000 players, give or take a couple thousand. It's definitely far from the heyday of what Overwatch once was. And honestly, the whole hero shooter genre as we know it has been really struggling. Remember Concord on PlayStation and PC? Yeah, no one does. It basically came out, crashed, disappeared after 2 weeks because Sony pulled the plug and fired everybody involved with it. It was a colossal failure. So earlier in 2024, when I started hearing about this game called Marvel Rivals, at first I was like, well, just another hero shooter. It's going to fade into obscurity and no one's going to give another thought. But then the alpha came out, and then the beta, and the more information. Now, granted, this game did not have much of a marketing push, like at all. It was more just kind of hoping by good word of mouth that the game would become like at least somewhat sustainable. And I'm happy to report that for the last month, Marvel Rivals has basically been taking over my life, and it's very, very good. In fact, I'm hard simping over this game because it's so good. Now, first off, one of the things that about this game that I just like is the fact that it works. Can you imagine that? A game working at launch with little to no issues. It runs smooth, it's fun to customize, and guess what? It even works under Linux, boys. Now, if you're a Linux gamer, and I've talked about this before, you know it's rare for basically any multiplayer game to work with an anti-cheat. This game not only works under their anti-cheat, but when the rare instances that people were banned unfairly because of how the compatibility layer works on Linux, the developers went on their Discord, apologized to the community, unbanned all those players, and basically committed to letting Linux players enjoy the game that they bought with their own money and not be discriminated against because they don't want to use Windows. I didn't think it was ever possible for that to happen, but guess what? It did. I am shocked because could you imagine Call of Duty, one, allowing Linux players to play their precious Call of Duty, and they argue that, well, the anti-cheat won't work as well on Linux. Well, guess what? I've been playing Marvel Rivals for a month, and I haven't ran into one cheater. And I know a lot of people play this game on their Steam decks and on Linux, and there's not any cheaters. Now, I'm not saying that in total there's not been a cheater yet. There probably will be, but it's unfair to discriminate just because you're a Linux user. Sorry for that rant. But basically, it's hard nowadays to find a multiplayer game like this that actually works, especially when it's on the scale of what Marvel Rivals is. Because every Call of Duty game that has come out recently has been buggy without, like, you basically, you would have pretty good odds betting like $1,000 every year that the Call of Duty game is going to be super buggy. It's going to be like there's going to be game breaking bugs, and there's going to be a lot of cheaters. Guaranteed, you could probably win a good amount of money investing in that bet. Now, here's even the kicker: Marvel Rivals is not just doing super well; it's a surprisingly smash hit. At the time of this recording, it's boasting like over 400,000 active players on Steam alone. That's not counting for console players. It's not counting for Xbox players. 400,000 players alone actively playing the game. And you have like content creators that are huge, like switching to this game and playing a lot. Like it's getting a lot of eyes. And they just even announced like some new updates with new characters. Like it is truly a chef's kiss of a stroke of luck that this game is as popular as it is and works as well, and it's so unique. There's so many fun abilities. There's rewarding learning curves, especially with how the characters work. Certain characters will unlock like powers for each other, and also like finishers. Like if you use like Groot and Rocket Raccoon, I'm pretty sure there's a finisher, or I don't know what the technical term for is. What am I talking about? But like you can get on like Groot's back, and it's a lot of fun. There's so much to learn in this game, and I feel rewarded. And I don't feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Call of Duty is a premium $70 title. $70, that's a lot of money for people to put up. And what you're getting a game that barely works, hackers galore. You're getting charged $30 skins, and basically everything you could think of that they can try getting money out of their players, they are. And basically what I see from Marvel Rivals is that at most, I've seen really only $10 skins. Now, they probably could be more expensive, but even if they are more expensive, it's a free-to-play game. I'm not going to be that butthurt about it. And they went out of their way to make the community happy by allowing Linux players to play it. So yeah, I want to put my money into developers who not only respect my time, but also just me as a consumer. And could you imagine, really imagine this, like the game developer who respects the players, apologize, makes the game working and fun, and respects our time and money. That's the game that's succeeding. I know, wild, right? I guess Call of Duty could take a few notes, but what am I? But just an average gamer who, for some reason, makes YouTube videos, right? Oh my gosh, we're coming in a day where indie games are basically kicking major corporations. You think major corporations normally want? I don't know. It's just always really funny when this stuff happens. But basically, more of the story is imagine you release a game, it works, it's fun, it respects players, and people will show up. Who knew it was that simple? Oh gosh, that's just crazy. But I am just hardcore simping over my rivals, and if you haven't given it a chance, man, it's free to play. You got really nothing to lose, and I've been playing it a lot. So if you agree with me, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember to smile.